false start already. Gifton Noel Williams had broken too early. But the road to Cardiff for the First Division and the Premiership club starts here at Vicarage Road. Will it lead all the way to the final for Watford or Arsenal? It's a long time since a team outside the top flight made it. But here, Arsenal on the charge already with Ashley Cole. Cole has gone down in the area and hasn't got up too quickly. Alan Wiley is the referee who took a long look at it. This is a severe blow for Arsenal in the first 30 seconds.
He just tries to come inside here and he just goes over. You see, gets a knock in the ankle, goes over. Luckily that's a kick, not a twist, so he should get over it. Just looking quickly, we thought Blondeau would play it left back. He's actually started on the right hand side. Neil Cox, normally right footed, has been drafted in at the left back area.
Here's Keown. Kanu lets it run. Away by Pierre Issa. Flicked on by Marcus Gale to be cleared by Martin Keown. Nizhny, though, can't keep it in.
Looking at Watford at the top end of the pitch, Rob, they have gone 4-3-3. Marcus Gale and Tommy Smith playing the flank areas. Either side of Gifton Noel Williams. Alan Nielsen playing in the forward position, and then that's just even Fiskin and Vernatza. That's two kind of holding players in midfield.
Here is Paolo Vernatza. Gale trying to drag it through for Vernatza, who's up against Martin Keown here.
Well, that was good play. Keown wanted time. Vernatza wasn't prepared to give him it. And I think that's the key to Watford. The tempo of the game, I think, has got to be high. Got to be pressure.
Cox with the throw. Vega looking for the flick on. Cleared in the end by Ljungberg. Back out to Cox from Nielsen. Three in a line at the edge of the 6-yard box. Vieira charging down the cross. Van Bronckhorst finds Kanu. Now Perez. Just beyond the reach of Robert Perez. Gianluca Vialli, who was a late substitute for Gianfranco Zola in Chelsea's victory in 1997 in the final against Middlesbrough, and then managed them to success against Aston Villa 3 years later. It's 10 years since a team from outside the top flight made it to the final. That was Sunderland. And it's 22 years since a team from outside the top flight won it, West Ham. Gifton Noel Williams trying to slide one through for Tommy Smith, who was offside.
Yeah, got offside early, tried to check his run and come back onside. He goes and then you watch him check. He checks and tries to keep himself onside, but too late, ball had been played. But he does like to do that, play on the shoulder, Tommy Smith, and running behind.
Here's Oleg Luzhny. Freddie Ljungberg. Keown. This is Sol Campbell, whose last FA Cup appearance was against Arsenal when they beat Spurs in last season's semi-final. Ashley Cole, just unable to keep it in. Cole. In goes Vernatza, Luzhny. Cox stumbling and Ljungberg couldn't make the most of it as Neil Cox recovers. Campbell got something on it. He'll have to get it back to Taylor before Gifton Noel Williams could get there.
I don't think that's a bad ball for Watford to play, you know. When they've got the ball at the back, it's to turn Arsenal's back four early on in the game, Rob. I really don't. I think if you play it in front of Arsenal all the time, they're quite happy with that. I just think early in the game, for Watford's sake, get people running over the top.
Well, Campbell got caught for one a week ago when a long ball punted forward by Gareth Southgate wasn't carried back to the goalkeeper by Campbell, and Noel Whelan took full advantage of it. And Watford will have seen that. This is Marcus Gale. Ljungberg. Now Gale. Noel Williams tries to return it to him and succeeds in so doing. Fox going in tight on Freddie Ljungberg. Martin Keown making his 50th appearance in the FA Cup today. And here's Giovanni van Bronckhorst, who's making his debut in the competition. Given away to Blondo. Panazza. It's Tommy Smith who's got it across there, and Keown just ushers it to safety.
That's nice football. Exactly what I was talking about, Rob. Third man running, if you like. And it got Tommy Smith in really well. And I think if he can do that and get Arsenal turned, going the other way, certainly early on will help Watford.
Lishny away. Vegas header. It's Fiskin. Gifted Noel Williams. Smith. Figure out by Alan Nielsen. Former Tottenham player, never managed to beat Arsenal in 4 derby matches, but did score a goal against them.
Well, he's going to be the one that's going to spring from that midfield area, there's no doubt about that. Never needed any encouragement, Alan Nielsen, to get forward.
Here's Pires. Vieira has made the break. Thierry Henry, now Canu. And he slipped it through brilliantly for Thierry Henry. 1-0 Arsenal.
Well, we're looking for offside, Rob. I have to say, we're way up the other end, but it must have been very, very close. The central players looked like they were out. There is one of the full-backs playing him onside. You watch it closely as Henry plays it and then goes. Now who drops back in there? No, it's not there, and it's then. Oh, I tell you, I'm really surprised the flag hasn't gone up there, Rob. But the defender the other side of Henry, he must have looked offside. Linesman's on the left-hand side as you look at it. That's a big decision. It could easily have gone Watford's way. It hasn't. And in Arsenal's first real attack of the match, Henry gets his goal.
Thierry Henry with his 23rd of the season. And 71 now in 128 games for Arsenal. He scored twice against Watford here in the Premiership when they last met 21 months ago. And already he's put them on the defensive here. A really tight decision though by the officials. Canu holding it up just long enough for Henry to get through.
I think when you're the underdog, Rob, you need those to go for you. That's the difference, I think, at times. Could have gone either way, it's borderline.
And Henry could be through again here. He's lined it up for Freddie Ljungberg, and Arsenal are 2 up in the first 10 minutes of their 3rd round tie.
Well, they're looking for it again. Again, they're either not getting the line right, but Henry playing right on the shoulder. This is a brilliant piece of play from him. As the ball comes across, Canu gets involved a couple of times really well, but when the ball's played there, you can see it's actually Vega, this side of the pitch, who's probably playing him onside. There's no doubt about Ljungberg. That wasn't a doubt. It was Henry just on the shoulder. He wasn't. Vega coming across, playing him on. Not great defensively, you have to say there, Rob, in the initial build-up. You can't mark Thierry Henry that side. will not be punished.
A full 95 seconds between those two Arsenal goals. And Thierry Henry and Freddie Ljungberg have really put Gianluca Vialli in a poor mood, I'm sure. All that planning this week for this game. And the offside trap twice sprung by Arsenal. Where's that gone?
Well, it wouldn't do any good now. That's exactly what you want if you're the Premiership side. 10 minutes into the game, 2-goal lead. What a relax you can have now. It's a game where you pop it about, you play your football.
Ashley Cole, now Thierry Henry. Fiskin, Venazza, Neil Cox, away by Luzhny to Vieira, Henry, Tommy Smith, away by Keown. It's Vieira, who's managed to ride the challenge of Fiskin. This is Pires. Looking for Henry, it was ambitious and Cox was in the way. And that's a clears. This is Gale. Well, Williams came to the near side. Van Bronckhorst with a header away.
Well, not the worst play in the world, that from Marcus Gale. But Watford really have got to get it right at the back, said right at the top. If they're not solid at the back and build from a base, that was so important. But Vega and Issa going forward for the corner haven't been at their best.
Fiskin with the corner. And it was Vega who got the header down and Luzhny who cleared. Back to Fiskin. Oh, they've got one back! And it's Gifton Noel Williams who's done it! To inject life back into Watford already.
Well, what a start to this match we've got. Exactly what the doctor ordered. And what a header this is from Gifton Noel Williams. We might not see a better header than this all weekend. They deal just about with the first one, but no pressure on the ball. He manages to look up, pick his spot, and what a header that is. You just don't save them, Rob. I'm telling you that now. Absolutely brilliant, that header.
Delight for Vialli and Ray Wilkins. And Gifton Noel Williams' goal shows that Watford refused to be bowed by conceding 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes to Arsenal. Freddie Ljungberg. Kanu. Off Vega, and now Arsenal get a corner.
I think it's great that they got a goal back so quickly, so early, but the big question is, can they stop Arsenal at the other end? That's the problem they've got at the moment, Rob. Arsenal look good up top at the moment. Kanu and Henry really look threatening.
And Bronckhorst with the corner. Dealt with by Fiskin. This is Pires. Van Bronckhorst. Luzhny getting forward, but it's the goal scorer, Gifton Noel Williams, who's there to fend him off.
Well, we're going to see attempts at goal. There can't be too many, Rob, I have to say, apart from the goals that we've seen. Like that. 100%.
Extraordinary. 3 attempts in the first quarter of an hour, all of them leading to goals. Header off Tommy Smith. Cole thought about the quick corner, but leaves instead for Pires to take. The presence of Kano in front of the goalkeeper. Alec Chamberlain, who's an experienced campaigner, earns Watford the free kick.
Did that against Chelsea. Kano took up that position when Sol Campbell scored his goal, a very important equaliser in that local derby. Kano's position was right like that, in front of Kudachini. He couldn't get there, wasn't spotted. Campbell scored. Arsenal went on to win.
A change of subject for player cam. Kanu now becomes the subject of that for Sky Digital viewers on channel 404. It's Keogh. Perez to Cole. Ball checked by Blondo. Arsenal won here 2 seasons ago in the Premiership. They were 3 up before half-time, and Watford ended up pulling 2 goals back in the second half. Watford looking for an earlier revival this time. Gift to Noel Williams, born in the Arsenal heartland of Islington, scorer of the Watford goal. Freddie Ljungberg. Henry. Shrugs off Issa, but when he pulls it back, no one there for Arsenal. Cleared by Fiskin to Gale. Hope for one from Keogh. Issa away. Too heavily into the back of Kanu. Van Bronckhorst is lining up a quick free kick.
He'll take his time, I think, when he realises how close he is. This is certainly one worth thinking about striking, Rob. Certainly within range. Got a lovely left foot, Van Bronckhorst. Henry will obviously fancy it.
Henry first to volunteer his services. Perez in attendance too, and Van Bronckhorst could still be a part of the plan.
When it's central like that, you can take whatever one you fancy.
It's Van Bronckhorst, and it's back off the wall. Sol Campbell. Luzhny sliding over Gale. And the Ukrainian has given away the free kick. To Perez. Henry lets it run, and it's Bonazza who's there. Van Bronckhorst's shot is saved, and Issa quickly to it before Henry could pick up the pieces of the rebound.
Well, they're going to have to defend better than this, Rob. They're getting torn apart at times and committing so many elementary errors here. Schoolboy stuff at times. That one, that's a poor pass from Bonazza. But they don't make the most of it. And then when you think they've cleared it up here, Vega, what on earth is he trying to do? Take the ball across here, God only knows. And what a save that is from Alex Chamberlain. That's just about kept his team in the match.
The pressure doesn't cease there. They're facing a free kick here now, which is swept in. Cleared by Nielsen. Ashley Cole, driven against Vega. Luzhny. Keogh got forward.
I think that's a brilliant chance. What a ball this is from Sol Campbell. Beautifully dinked over. Real chance. That's not a typical Martin Keown header, I tell you.
It's been a long time without a goal as Martin Keown, and he won't have had too many better opportunities than that. Claiming that he was caught in the face. The Watford fans a little disbelieving of his version of events.
I think he might have got caught with the arm as Issa was turning, but nothing sinister for me. It is impossible to play football with your arms by your sides 90 minutes, Rob, trust me.
Long one from Vega. Keogh climbing behind Noel Williams. Nielsen with a strike.
Yeah, he's a little unlucky not to get a free kick. Issa at the other end got penalised for coming over the top of Kanu just like that. But Martin Keown got away with that one. Maybe gave advantage, but no advantage taken, so a little unlucky. I think he's talking exactly what I am. He's saying, Kanu, free kick, why not up the other end? I think he's got a point.
He leapt into that one a little bit against Noel Williams. Watford do have the free kick this time.
His foot must have just been a centimetre higher than Noel Williams' there. They both went up high for that.
Spiskin, who swept it in, looking for Vega. In by Smith, away by Kanu. Vanazza. Cox. The fourth official today is Paul Taylor. Gathered Arsenal weren't too happy about his appointment originally, but remember he was the man with whom Arsene Wenger had a bit of a disagreement after a match at Sunderland last season, and Arsene Wenger initially was given a 12-match ban and a fine that was upheld on appeal, or the appeal was upheld, but they did shake hands today. And a clearing of the air between the two of them.
That's a cup tie now, Rob. We've got a game. I think a game that could have been almost wrapped up and put to bed 10 minutes ago is now very much alive.
Well, all credit to Watford, who could have disintegrated having conceded those goals so early, particularly in view of their performance against Millwall here on Tuesday. It was out of character for them to let in as many goals as they did on New Year's Day. They kept 8 clean sheets in their 11 previous league games. Here's Henry. Now Kanu. Away by Blondo. This is Vanazza. Keown misses his kick. This is gift to Noel Williams. Scorer of the Watford goal. Back by Van Bronckhorst. Sol Campbell. Van Bronckhorst. Now Pires. Luzhny. Patrick Vieira. Kanu. Pires. Kanu back here to Keown. This is Van Bronckhorst. Ljungberg. Luzhny.
Plenty of possession, Rob. Patient, but when are they going to try that incision that they need to make? There has been a few passes in this.
Ljungberg finds his man. It's Van Bronckhorst. Can he pick out Henry? Oh, well, if he had, he would have been in there. But Blondo cut it out.
That was sensational football. And he picked exactly the right time. The ball wasn't that difficult. Van Bronckhorst will be really disappointed. He hasn't just lifted that through to Henry.
Well, it was a goal waiting to happen after such a long period of Arsenal possession. And Henry appeared to have pulled into just the right position. Ljungberg. Now Kanu. Vieira. Cole's made a run in from the left. And it was from one of those runs that he got his headed goal, the winner against Middlesbrough. Watford have been knocked out of the FA Cup in the third round 9 times in the last 11 years, including the last 4 in a row. And they seem well on their way to being dispatched from the competition again after Arsenal's bright start. Just as the Premiership team seem to be picking up the momentum once again, Cox breaks it up and finds Blondo. Campbell away. Now Venazza, the former Arsenal player. Slips it through towards Nielsen. Sliding challenge was by Sol Campbell. This is Kanu. Vega getting tight to Kanu, who wins the throw.
But it looks like Arsenal are going to enjoy plenty of possession in this match. The system that they're playing against, with the 3 tight midfield and Smith and Gale wide either side. They can roll it across the back if they want, Rob, at times, and keep possession. Arsenal just probe.
Nielsen. And slides Noel Williams. This is Sol Campbell. Ashley Cole. Away by Blondo. Smith almost putting Issa in trouble against Lundberg, but he clears to Noel Williams, who wins the throw. Patrick Vieira. His last goal for Arsenal was in the FA Cup. In fact, he went through the whole of 2001 without scoring in the Premiership. Luzhny. Sol Campbell. Keogh.
Well, let's hope for that more than accurate from Martin Keogh. No real need for him to do that. Got plenty of players around them. The pass has been good up to now, keeping the ball.
Patrick Blondo, once of Sheffield Wednesday, had a very short spell at Hillsborough, just 6 games in 6 months. It's Gale. Keogh. Venazza. There's Ramon Vega. Too long for Noel Williams and for Tommy Smith.
Now's the time for them to squeeze in a little bit, make it difficult for Arsenal to get out. They can't always get possession, but they can play the ball into areas and then try and keep the ball in that area. Let Arsenal out far too easily again there.
Vieira. Now Lundberg. Went for the early cross that is blocked by Neil Cox.
Not all that comes for, because it's too easy getting out 80 yards away up the pitch there. I think at times you've got to keep teams in, you've got to make it difficult. Make them work harder than that at least to get the ball out from 10 yards from their own goal line.
Vega keeping an eye on Campbell as Van Bronckhorst lines up to take the corner. Springs back off Tommy Smith. Chamberlain now in his 21st year as a professional and restored to the Watford lineup. Espen Bardson, the former Tottenham goalkeeper, started the season in goal. He's on the bench today. This is Neil Cox, who's also had an interesting season. He was out of the team and transfer listed, and when he came back in, it was as captain. Here's Vega. Gale. Away by Luzhny to Ljungberg. Van Bronckhorst looking for the piercing ball, but it's too long for Thierry Henry.
Yeah, any ball like that's just going to pick up pace and just skip away from anyone.
Player cam for the final 15 minutes or so of the half. We'll concentrate on Watford's Marcus Gale. It's been as far as the FA Cup semi-finals with Wimbledon. Here's Perez to Van Bronckhorst, now Henry. Cole. Vieira.
That's what they can do. If the two centre-backs show like that, they can use them every time, because it's really difficult for Noel Williams to cope with the two of them. So one of them, if they want, is always going to be able to get the ball off at times.
Canu. This is Luzhny. Vieira. Keown under pressure from Gifton Noel Williams. Vieira. Now Nielsen. Vanazza and Noel Williams up in support. It's Vanazza. And it's away by Martin Keown. Flag is up for offside.
Heavy first touch from Vanazza. Just there to get away from Nielsen. Picked out the right ball.
Luzhny blocking off Marcus Gale.
Yeah, well played, Marcus Gale. Experience there. Knew exactly what was going to happen when he tucked it around the corner. He was going to win a free kick for obstruction. And when you've done all right delivering the ball in and your players have contested it, they've got good headers in. Hasn't been easy for Arsenal.
Vanazza looking for the cross. Keown gets it away from in front of Noel Williams.
That was a lovely ball. That was brilliant defending from Martin Keown. Well, I thought they just knocked this in, but they take the short one and work it really well wide. And look at Keown, determination to stay in front of Noel Williams. Really good defending.
Perez. And a header out by Tommy Smith.
I feel a little bit sorry for Tommy Smith in the first half. Most of his job has been going back towards his own goal, their top goal scorer. They'd love to see him in the other penalty area, Rob, but because of the system they're playing and because he's up against Ashley Cole, who wants to bomb forward every time he can, it's been really hard for Tommy.
Tommy Smith. It's a good one.
That's what they'd like to see him do his work. Of course it is, and even this is coming from wide and he does it all on his own. And I think that's why Watford fans have been looking at this and thinking, why is he... We're not seen that so far, first half. It's because he's doing a disciplined job on the right-hand side.
Noel Williams. Vanazza. Now Nielsen. This is Cox. Vanazza again. Vega. Cox aimed for Noel Williams.
I think he's enjoying it up against the two big boys there, I tell you. And so he should be. Got his goal, got his team back in it. Doing a good job on his own there, trying to hold the ball up, trying to make a nuisance of himself. Needs a tad more support from somewhere.
It's a great opportunity for those two young front men today, Gifton Noel-Williams and Tommy Smith, both 21 years of age, somewhat consumed by the demands of the Premiership when Watford were having a real battle to stay at the top level a couple of seasons ago. The referee playing his part there in breaking down the Arsenal move. Good work by Fiskin. Cleared in the end though by Campbell. Now Ljungberg. Cox going into Ljungberg.
No, it was stupid and rash from Neil Cox. Just sucked him in, Ljungberg. Wasn't going anywhere.
Giovanni van Bronckhorst with a kick. Campbell piling in with a header wide.
I think it was Neil Cox that just got enough on it as well. I mean, he gave away a stupid free kick, but I think he more than makes up for it with a challenge. Just about did enough, Neil Cox, I think.
Nothing from the corner for Arsenal, although again, Kanu was standing right in front of Alec Chamberlain.
Big lad to get round as well, Kanu, isn't he?
Ljungberg. Here's Fiskin. Now Kanu. Henry to Perez. Henry has to try and give Blondo the slip, which he does. He's coming back at him as well. He's found Perez. Cole. Vieira. Tried to play Kanu in.
Lugny with the ball. Akers on the right. They do tend to get a bit narrow with Perez and Ljungberg, but Lugny would certainly give Patrick Vieira a ball and an option wide right.
Here's Perez. Bearing in mind the possession they've had and the start they had to this game, Arsenal will be disappointed with the scoreline the way it is. Scoreline by which, incidentally, they've won their last 3 matches. 2-1. Kanu. Well, got his shot away.
Well, he's still searching, isn't he? Early November, I think. In the Worthington Cup's Kanu's last goal, so he's been waiting a while. So typical of him, though. Tight situation, one touch, spin, hit. Was all there, apart from the accuracy.
Well, the road to the FA Cup final leads to Cardiff, and we're paying an early visit to that city tomorrow for the 3rd round tie between Cardiff City and Leeds. Live on Sky Sports 2 and Sky Sports Extra. Join us from 3 o'clock. Arsenal were there at the Millennium Stadium back in May. And of course, took the lead through this man, Freddie Ljungberg, only to lose it to Liverpool. Ljungberg has helped to put them in the driving seat here with the 2nd goal. But the one that Gifton Noel-Williams got back for Watford has given Arsenal plenty to think about. Gale just holds off Oleg Luzhny.
I think that defeat might make Arsenal a real handful this year in the competition. I think they were really hurt by it. They dominated a cup final for 80 odd minutes and then lose it.
And it's gone through here to Kanu, who's onside. Ljungberg's waiting in the middle. Well,
what can you say?
What a chance.
This is game over, I would guess. I think if they go 2 up now, it would have been Lovely little step over. 1v1 you'd fancy for your life. To be fair, they get bodies back on the line. But he should still, having skipped round, have finished this off. Either picking out Youngberg or scoring himself. What a chance.
All he gets instead is a corner, Kanu. Keown heads it back, but in the end away from goal. Benatza clears. Here's Ashley Cole. Oleg Luzhny. Kanu. Kanu punished this time for the tackle on Cox.
I think that goal against United in that Wellington Cup was a penalty as well, wasn't it? Kanu scored.
That's right.
He's still searching even longer for one in normal play. But as I say, the majority of his game is really good. His touch is excellent. Football and brain's good. Passing's been good. Just cannot put a finishing touch on anything.
Cole. Here's Pires. Vieira. Ljungberg. Henry's made the run. This is Pierre Issa, whose services Watford will lose after this game. He's off to the African Nations Championship with South Africa. And with Ramon Vega facing a suspension after his sending off here against Millwall, that will pose a bit of a problem for them. Noel Williams. Gale pulling it across. Glancing header away to Pires. Tackle was by Gary Fiskin. And for the first time, referees reaching for a card.
I think there's some games when, yeah, you have to take a card out because, you know, the game's gone that way. It's been one of the easiest games to referee. There's been nothing in it for him. Probably got a bit cold. I think that's a bit harsh.
Gary Fiskin, who's just 20 and a product of the Watford youth policy. All of his 18 appearances for the club before today come this season under Gianluca Vialli. It's been very much an evolutionary process under the new management team. Still plenty of survivors here from the Graham Taylor era, from the Watford team that had that short-lived stay in the Premiership. Van Bronckhorst, Kanu. Ljungberg. Luzhny. Martin Keown. Vieira. He's away from Benatza. He's looking for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst here.
Handball for me.
And the referee agrees.
He's done well to spot that, the referee. Toe marks. I thought as he lifted up, the left arm came out, rolled down it, helped it control it. It's a beautiful run, and what a ball from Vieira. The way he's just lifted it over the defence. You can see it roll down the arm. He did control it with the arm. Chest first, down onto the arm. That's good refereeing.
Denies Van Bronckhorst his first Arsenal goal, but it is the correct verdict from Alan Wiley. Here's Neil Cox. Great ball to Smith. Away by Campbell.
See, I think that's the kind of ball we haven't played enough of, Rob. I think right to left to right, over the top, the two wide men playing. And I think even if it runs out of play, you still get yourself in a good position to build from if you can win a ball back early. I don't think they're going to out-football Arsenal, sorry. I don't think they're going to out-pass Arsenal and and things like that, so they've got to find another way of making a bit of penetration.
We're into the minute of stoppage time that's been added on.
And that was a big decision, that, wasn't it? To go in 3-1 down might just have been too much, but at 2-1, very, very much in the game if Watford can keep it to this.
Half-time, Arsenal leading, but Watford could have been sunk when first Henry and then Ljungberg put them 2 up in the first 10 minutes. But Noel Williams started the Watford recovery with a goal in the 12th minute, and Arsenal have since missed a variety of opportunities. So at half-time it is Watford 1, Arsenal 2. Henry and Ljungberg had given them such a good start to the contest. Interestingly, for a team that hasn't lost a league match away from home this season, Arsenal have lost every other away game in every other competition that they've played in the Champions League and the Worthington Cup, so it could be a first of a sort for them. Headed back by Keown.
It's tough for Gianluca Vialli, Rob, as a manager, and as coach. He's looking at it and he's thinking, yeah, I'd love to get more support up, I'd love to get Tommy Smith forward in a more advanced position. But does he take that risk early on and go with a 4 in the midfield and risk losing a third goal? I think if it's all right for me sitting here, it's not my team to sit here and think, I'd love to see him do that, but I think it's something that he'll have to think about should the scoreline stay the same. Certainly if it gets worse, he's got to move it. But at the moment, I think it's a case of he's going to try and keep it at 2-1 and maybe nick a goal if they can. But he's got that thought in mind, when and if they can get Tommy Smith a little bit further forward.
Good pressure by Nielsen, who was caught by Vieira after delivering the ball for Gale. This is Vieira. Away by Luzhny. Now Vega up against Ljungberg. This is Perez. Cox, who'd given it to him, cuts it out. Harry Fiskin. Smith making a run inside. This is Blondo up on the outside. Now Smith. Now Fiskin. Bonazza.
Bit narrow, bit narrow. And there's danger here.
It's Perez. Now Henry, lacking in support, although Perez has got there now. It's too far in front of him.
Well, knew there was danger. And those two get in tandem. It was 2v2 at one point. And eventually, you can see that there. I wondered if Perez would just go on his own. He decided to look for his mate. He's only a fraction away from getting on the end of this. Another yard of space. And it might just have been an easy tap in. A little curve on the ball just took it away from him.
Perez, who scored 3 goals en route to Cardiff last season. Hits it against Gale, and it's cleared by Keown. Neil Cox. Cole. This is Van Bronckhorst. Blondo. Nielsen. Van Bronckhorst. This is Ljungberg. Kanu. Luzhny. By Fiskin, then by Gale. Noel Williams. Vieira coming back. Find Campbell. Cole. Keogh. Lizny, who has the opportunity to make that right back spot his own over the next month or so, with Lauren due to be away at the African Nations Cup. This is Cole. Henry. Biscuit looking long for Noel Williams. And the header away was by Campbell first, and now Keown is robbed by gifted Noel Williams, and Keown recovers well with a block challenge.
That might be a sore one, that, I tell you.
Well, Easter has put it out so that Noel Williams can get some attention. It was a desperate tackle by Martin Keown, who'd been dispossessed by Noel Williams in the first instance.
Yeah, he thought it was a free kick. It was a tackle of feeling hard done by, I think. He thinks this is a free kick. I don't. I think he's won that really well, but this is a... goodness me. That might be a nasty one in the right ankle against Noel Williams. That would be a real blow. I think he's done particularly well up on his own. Really lively.
Keown has been affected too, but gifted Noel Williams was restored to the starting lineup by Gianluca Vialli today. He'd actually started with a partnership up front of Marcus Gale and Tommy Smith in the previous match against Millwall. It sensed that Noel Williams was the man for this occasion, and so it proved with that superb header he scored in the first half.
Looks rather tender at the moment. He's not going to know until he starts running about now, that's for sure.
Both Noel Williams and Keown want a quick return, and they get one, and there's a shake of hands between them as they come back on. Here's Paolo Venanza. Londo. Cole didn't really get the best header away, and Campbell had to get him out of trouble there.
But it's just as well got something on it, Rob, I tell you, because Smith was in at the back of him, round behind, and Ashley Cole was unaware of that. Just getting up on it.
Lively character, Tommy Smith. Actually made his England under-21 debut replacing Ashley Cole, and went on to score in that match against Georgia. Good cross in here. Again in towards gifted Noel Williams, who's the big threat as far as Arsenal are concerned.
Thought he might have done better. I tell you, I thought he was up in front of Martin Keown and didn't quite get off the ground. Maybe that ankle.
Smith. Fiskin. Away by Lizny. And there's a foul anyway by Marcus Gale. And Arsenal have got on with the taking of it, but the referee wants it retaken from the bench position.
Only 30 yards.
Alan Wiley just pointing out the difference between where it should have been taken and where it was taken to Sol Campbell. Vega. Here's Fiskin. Off the chest, said the referee. Was well positioned to see it. This is Henry. Now Ljungberg. Cole. Run from him by Tommy Smith. Could the time be ripe for a change from Arsenal? Sylvain Wiltord among their substitutes, and Freddie Ljungberg has just had a little period off the pitch receiving treatment.
And I won't take any chances with anyone who's got a little twinge or anything. That's a certainty.
Well, other than an early exit from the FA Cup, the other result that Arsenal wouldn't want is a draw and a replay in a month where they've already got Liverpool and Leeds to face in the league, and where they're already going to be hampered by absences through players being away on international duty and suspensions. Cole, Van Bronckhorst and Parler all due to miss the Liverpool game. Here's Henry. And that's tussling with Van Bronckhorst and winning that duel. Luzhny, well won. This is Kanu. Ljungberg. Henry. And Vieira's there. Well blocked. Blondo got across.
Yeah, he did well at the back post, but that's the threat at the moment. When there's nothing happening up top for Watford, it's more likely at the moment that Arsenal are going to get that important third. It's a good block, it's a tight angle for Patrick Vieira.
Perez with a corner. Didn't know too much about it, Piskin, but got enough on it to concede another anyway. Arsenal's 7th of the match. Again, it doesn't clear the first man, who is Fiskin, who gets it away. Perez. Kanu. Vieira. Now Henry. Keown has stayed in the attack. Van Bronckhorst in the middle, so Vieira!
You know, if this boy could get you 10, 15 goals a season, Vieira, he'd be unbuyable. You just couldn't buy him. He's got absolutely everything. Everything. People already regard him as one of the great midfield players in the world, but if he could put a finish into it as well, Rob, my God, money couldn't buy the lad.
Further recognition for him yesterday with his inclusion in the UEFA Team of the Year for 2001, along with his club colleague Thierry Henry. But Patrick Vieira is still without a goal since his equaliser against Tottenham in the FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford back in April.
Well, that was coming, that decision. There's been 2 or 3 of those, and he's taking a little ride, and Noel Williams is back, Martin Keown. This has been an area where you do feel Watford might just get a bit of joy, Rob, as any time a ball's come into the box, they've looked half a threat. That's a bit flat, that one.
It's Cole who gets it away. This is Cox. Good work from him. Brilliant work from him. Cleared in the end by Campbell. Vieira. Kanu. Well, Perez was offering them a wide option when it was so congested in the middle. And Blondo lots a hopeful one forward towards Noel Williams. He's been policed by Luzhny.
Well, that's what Watford need to do. They need to try and keep the ball down here. They need to put it in and test Arsenal. If that means knocking a long pass occasionally, so what?
Keown behind the throw. Nielsen to get another opportunity to hurl it in there. Luzhny gets this one away. Ljungberg under pressure from Benatza.
It's a shame. He's upset. He did put the arm on top of the shoulder, and I think that's, you've got a team in there. It's so important not to do things like that. Ease the pressure. Ljungberg's not going anywhere.
Well, Watford have beaten one Premiership team this season. They knocked Charlton out of the League Cup. Paolo Benatza was on the score sheet that day. In fact, had things worked out rather differently, this could have been the first of a couple of cup meetings with Arsenal in a matter of days, both having been knocked out of the League Cup in the last round by Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn respectively, who promptly drew each other. Cole. Smith. Alan Nielsen. Oh, Noel Williams was almost in there when Martin Keown was looking for an offside flag. Perez. Campbell. Keown. Ashley Cole. Perez. Kanu. Luzhny. Now Freddie Ljungberg, nobody in the middle for him. Henry's getting there now. Thierry Henry. By the time that Vega had offered himself in support, Vega managed to get himself in the way. Nielsen. Noel Williams. Neil Cox. Nielsen. Cox again. Picked out Londo. Piskin. Smith. Gale closing in. Gets the header back towards Noel Williams. Claimed it though, Taylor has set Arsenal on their way quickly enough. Vega though stopping them in their tracks. A change of subject for player cam. You can now follow the movement of Watford's Gifton Noel Williams for Sky Digital viewers on channel 404. So we're past the hour mark in this third round tie in the FA Cup, sponsored by AXA, and Arsenal still leading 2-1, all the goals in the first half. A 2 up in the first 10 minutes. You started to wonder just how many it might be against a Watford team that shipped in goals against Millwall on New Year's Day.
Well, unless Luca Vialli does something either with personnel or tactically to get some more bodies up top, Rob, then you can just see this either being 2-1 to Arsenal, finishing that way, or Arsenal just nicking a third and sealing it. They have to get more bodies in advanced areas like that. I mean, that's 2 flick-ons from front man and wide man, and no one central.
It's a good ball from Campbell to Kanu. Now Vieira has broken forward. And he's managed to pick him out, although he has been forced out wide. Kanu, yes! The third goal has come for Arsenal, and Kanu at last has got his goal.
Well, I think it might be another. But this is wonderful football. Vieira puts the run in from midfield. Look at the drive, look at that run. Absolutely brilliant, powerful. And this is unusual. You don't see many of these, a cross and a header from Arsenal. It doesn't happen often, they don't put a lot of crosses in. But this is a great cross, and it's a fantastic header from Kanu. He happens to be not the best in the air, I don't think, for his height, but he finds a pretty good header there. I think that puts this match beyond Watford.
And he'll take goals whichever way they come at the moment, Kanu. It is his 4th of the season. Still not the greatest return from a player who was unhappy at his lack of involvement in the first team at the back end of last season and the early part of this. Being given a run in the side at the moment though now, and he gets his first goal in this competition for 3 seasons. Is that going to be the goal that steers Arsenal through to the 4th round of this season's competition? Vieira, who might have broken his goal-scoring duck himself. The ball played through to him initially. Cox going in on Ljungberg, and the free kick was taken with a rolling ball. Well, that gamble you were talking about by Gianluca Vialli and getting more bodies forward, even more pressing now, but is it going to be too late?
I just think they've been a bit tentative for me. You know, I know they're playing Arsenal, I know they don't want to get hammered, but I think it's also a game you know you've got to have a go at. I think third round FA Cup, I'd just like to see a little bit more adventure. I mean, taking your top goal scorer and playing him way wide out here, and I'm hardly being in the front third of the pitch. Didn't make sense. I've changed it now. He's come out and said 4-4-2. Smith has gone up front now. They've had one attempt at goal, they've scored where they haven't made the goalkeeper work at all. I mean, all the stats are there. And I just think this is a move that maybe should have been made at half-time.
Vieira tidying up there and finding Pires. And Kanu has broken and he's onside. And it's saved by Chamberlain. Here's Pires. And it's wide. Well, there was the opportunity for real daylight.
Well, Kanu could have had a hat-trick, should have had a hat-trick. He's had a couple of great chances, really poor defending yet again from Watford. And as he goes in, he's got Henry, look at Henry, busting a gut for a little square ball. Could have picked him out, but in the back of his header, it's no surprise to see him take it on. Good save, but didn't do enough, Kanu.
Well, the goal apart, Kanu's finishing has been the product of a player showing a lack of confidence in front of goal. He is due to be off to the African Nations Cup with Nigeria, although he is making a personal appeal to be available for the Liverpool match. Cox, Nielsen, away by Luzhny, Alan Nielsen again. Gale. And off Luzhny for the corner. Vega forward for the corner. So is Pierre Issa. Vega got sandwiched between two players and couldn't direct his header. He has won it back here. Now Venazza. Away by Campbell with Kanu still down in the area. And because he's holding his head, the referee stops play so that he can be seen by the medical staff.
It's just a clash of heads at the back post here. He goes up and amongst the crowd scene, takes a whack.
Vega, the player who went up with Kanu. And while Kanu gets treated, an opportunity to remind you of the live action that we've got coming up tomorrow from the third round of the AXA-sponsored FA Cup. It's Cardiff against Leeds, and it's live for you on Sky Sports 2 and Sky Sports Extra. So Luca Vialli wondering if the tide will turn for his team. With Vialli and Wenger in opposing dugouts today, we have two of the managers who've led their teams to success in the last 4 FA Cup finals. Arsene Wenger having led Arsenal to the domestic double back in 1998. It's 7 years since an English manager led a team to victory in the FA Cup final. Joe Royle of Everton, the only Englishman to lead his team to an FA Cup success in the last decade.
I'd have got that, you know. I'd have gotten that question. Wish you'd asked me, mate.
Was your old club, I would have expected you to.
Oh.
Horrible miss kick by Chamberlain. Pires. Kanu. Cole. Henry. Van Bronckhorst. Pires. Campbell. Here's Vega. Now Venatza. Fiskin. Londo. Ramon Vega, who had his critics during his time at Tottenham. But he can say that he was never on the losing side in the North London derby. The fact that he only played in 2 may have something to do with it. It's Fiskin. Cole. Isak. Fiskin. Venatza.
Nice strike. Nice and clean. Never really threatening, but desperate measures required now. You just feel with 20 minutes or so to go in this match.
Arsene Wenger and Pat Rice, his assistant, who's among a select band of players to have appeared in 5 Wembley finals and achieved 2 victories. And subsequently moved, of course, from Arsenal to Watford. Free kick from Cox.
That's when the young kid, you see Gary Fiskin, who's playing right side, that's when the ball's coming from the left there. He's got to be in on the back of his centre forward, just in case he does what he did, helps it on.
Ljungberg. Pires. Luzhny. Now Kanu. Issa away. Vieira.
Terrible touch.
Henry.
Yeah, we're keeping it now. It's almost a session for Arsenal. They know the game. I think the players out there know the game's won, unless they do anything stupid. They're popping it about, full of confidence.
Henry.
No one wanting a touch on it.
Cole. Vega. Vieira. Kanu. Arsenal have reached 14 finals in the FA Cup in their history. 7 wins, 7 defeats at that stage. This is Fiskin. Well, he went for the strike when he had Smith up to his right and Gale out to his left.
That was much better. Support in there, the little flick on. Williams wins it, Smith gets on that. There's a little takeover. That's lovely football. Up till there, that was super. Not enough of that's happened for Watford.
Henry and Ljungberg looking to fasten onto it, and Blondo fast enough to get there for Watford. Taking up his regular position by the goalkeeper as the corner swung in. Right in his direction.
What a ball that was, eh? Oh, and there's somebody 6'5" stood in front of you. What a problem against goalkeepers. He doesn't do an awful lot, I don't think, Canu there. Except just stand there, and that's enough of a nuisance. I think Arsenal have won every game that Henry scored in this season, Rob, so it was probably ominous when he nipped in early on for the first goal.
Looked very ominous when they were 2 down in 10 minutes. Canu. Henry. Away by Vega. Perez. This is Luzhny. Canu helping it on to Luzhny. It's good build-up again, this from Arsenal. Now Henry, can he turn against Issa? Henry and Ljungberg have waited around the edge of the box. It's a more patient approach again from Arsenal. Keown, Luzhny. Arsenal again proving so difficult for the home team to shake off the ball. Campbell. Keown. Van Bronckhorst. Vieira. Perez. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Oh, what a...
Perez.
Oh, he's not. Oh, no.
What a goal it would have been.
She was. Oh, well, that was ridiculous football. And then they just inject a bit of pace, Rob. Oh, dear me. I think even you might have knocked this in, mate. But he wanted a touch, stood on the ball, and what would have been a just magnificent ending to a wonderful piece of football ends up quite embarrassing for Perez.
Van Bronckhorst looked at Perez with some anguish then that he'd failed to finish off that wonderful move. Wondered if Van Bronckhorst, with a 3-1 lead, might have been tempted to go for it himself. Ljungberg has made a break from midfield again here. Vega is stuck with him. And Vega's challenge leads to a corner. Well, after that last move, it won't surprise you to learn that Robert Perez now has to come under the scrutiny of player cam. Van Bronckhorst. Cleared as far as Venazza. Well, a change is being made now by Watford. Either Helgeson is going to come on. Fiskin is the man and he'll replace. Helgeson scored here against Arsenal in the last meeting, the 3-2 league defeat. Here's Smith. Vega just lets it run. Here's Venazza. Blondo. Helgeson. Good link up with Venazza. Van Bronckhorst cuts it out in the end. Lizhny clears to Kanu. And it's given away, and Arsenal have a man down, and this is Smith. Van Bronckhorst, the player down. And that will delay the taking of the Watford throw. Helgeson just livening things up after his introduction.
I just think they've looked better at this shape with Smith up front. I mean, all right, Arsenal have got the 3-1. They might have just taken the foot off the gas and touch, Rob. But I did think, and it's a difficult decision for a manager and a coach to make at that time. When you're 2-1, do you change it? Do you go for it? I just think third round of the FA Cup, it makes it an easier decision for you. I just think I'd like to have seen Gianluca and Ray take that chance a little bit early in the match.
So Van Bronckhorst takes temporary leave. Venazza. Watford with a temporary numerical advantage. Looking for Helgeson with a cross. Now knocks it back across, and there was danger there for Arsenal, may still be. This is Blondo. Oh, pumping drive from Smith.
Oh, that was close. That might even just brush the top of the bar, this. Lovely strike. And a little bit unlucky here, it doesn't drop to anyone when he just nodded it across the face of the 6-yard box. I thought he'd lost it when he takes a touch on it, but what a strike this is. Just over, about a yard too high.
Elton John praying for a miracle, but didn't happen then. Kanu. Pires. Dennis Bergkamp poised to come on with under 10 minutes left. He's gone 11 games without a goal. Sylvain Wiltord, who scored 6 in the FA Cup for Arsenal last season, is also going to come on. Thierry Henry being put into cold storage now for the big games that Arsenal still have to face this month, and Kanu as well. So a new front line for Watford to face. Wiltord and Bergkamp.
Not a bad one.
There's Venazza. Wiltord. Pires. This is Cole. Now Vega. Campbell. Pires. Sylvain Wiltord. Pires. Vieira.
Nearly. Yeah, nearly. Left foot not as reliable as the right there.
Gale. Neil Cox. This is Vega. Given away to Van Bronckhorst. Vega gets away with that.
Just a bit.
Ashley Cole. Van Bronckhorst. Wiltord through, it's Ashley Cole, it's Dennis Bergkamp, it's 4 for Arsenal, and it's the 4th round in short.
Been threatening Arsenal, threatening to rip Watford apart and well at times. Again, it's borderline, the ball's played perfectly, and then that's an easy decision. And this time, unlike Perez, Bergkamp doesn't stand on it, but takes the touch and rolls it in. Game, set, match.
He'd been on the field for less than 2 minutes, Dennis Bergkamp, before getting his 6th goal of this season. And having gone 11 games without one, like Kanu earlier, Bergkamp will be relieved to open his FA Cup account for the season.
So you take half a dozen of those every year, won't you? Tap-ins from that distance.
And Watford now facing the same scoreline by which they were beaten here on New Year's Day. Smith. Here looking to clear, does so in rather haphazard fashion.
You know, I just think when you look at the game and Watford well, I just think the fact that you look at Stuart Taylor in goal and you say, well, how many times did he make a save? Not one. And I think that tells you everything about the match.
Tommy Smith with the corner, disappointing one too. Here's Bergkamp. Perez. Ljungberg's made a break. This is Vieira. Got 3 ahead of him to his left. This is Wiltord. Bergkamp. Breaks back off Van Bronckhorst, cleared by Vega. Londo. Arsenal now less than 4 minutes away from a place in the 4th round draw. They've never actually fallen at this hurdle since Arsene Wenger took over. Their last defeat in the 3rd round was in the days when Bruce Rioch was manager against Sheffield United. That was also their last FA Cup defeat to lower league opposition.
You have to be right in this round, and when you go away from home, you have to make sure that you're up for it. And certainly at the beginning there, you can't question that Arsenal players were ready for this. Knew what to expect. I think the game away at Carlisle last year when they scraped through by the 1-0, very much in the minds, and they've used that experience. And they've been pretty good all day, you have to say, Arsenal. Control of the ball's been excellent, dominated possession, huge amounts of this game, and been really, well, apart from Kanu squandering a couple of chances, have been pretty clinical in front of goal.
Yes, there are many ingredients you need in place for a cup upset, and one of them is the favourites being a little under par, but Arsenal haven't been in that state. Kanu and Henry helping to set them on their way to the 4th round, enough to be rested late on. Vieira. Luzhny. Vieira. Van Bronckhorst. Cole. Ashley Cole has made the run. Van Bronckhorst's ball just a little too far ahead of him. Isa. Fanatza. Helgeson. Blondo. Vanatza looking to reach Heider Helgeson. Ashley Cole away. Watford would have looked for some progress in the FA Cup, but an early elimination will at least allow them to focus their minds on the First Division promotion race. A little way off at the moment. One or two disappointed by the return. Here's a chance. Tommy Smith unable to convert.
That's a snap header though. He didn't get a lot of time to think about this. Young Tommy Smith arrives very quickly at him. Lovely little flick there. He's a little unlucky. He's had it straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. First save of the match. The Stuart Taylor in what, the 90th minute of the match. I think it's a job well done for the runners-up last year, Arsenal. It could have been a tricky tie this, but they've been very, very comfortable, Rob. Since the moment Henry put them in front, they've looked comfortable, confident. They've looked winners.
It's been a disappointing day for Paulo Vanatza, who's coming off. But it gives the opportunity for Watford to blood another of their youngsters, 17-year-old Jamie Hand, who's a second-year scholar and comes on for stoppage time, of which there will be 3 minutes. Here's Nielsen. Marcus Gale pulling across for gifted Noel Williams, but Ashley Cole was there. Gale again. Taylor punches and finds Vieira. Neil Cox. Reception for Jamie Hand on his first touch. Issa now finds Blondo. And finds Helgeson. And Taylor pushed it against his own man. It's broken here for Smith. Gale! Uncertainty in the Arsenal defence. The handling of Stuart Taylor, not exploited by Watford earlier, is now maybe too late, but Marcus Gale has got his goal.
Got a lovely left foot, Gale, whether it's crossing or striking, Rob. A young Jamie Hand will be really chuffed. Watch this piece of football, son, when you get home, because you played a huge part in it. And it's a lovely little drop-off, but what a strike. But goalkeeper won't want to see that again, Rob. It's not an easy ball, but it's one he should have dealt with. And from a real acute angle, it's a beautiful strike from Gale. Exquisite, that.
Marcus Gale's 5th of the season after a 16-game spell without one. Some consolation, at least for Watford, to put a bit of respectability on the scoreline, but not one that Stuart Taylor will look back on with too much fondness. Taylor, who's gone from being third choice to first choice Arsenal goalkeeper this season, with injuries to David Seaman and Richard Wright, who again isn't on the bench today. Nielsen. Helgeson. And last season's finalists, Arsenal, are the first team to go through to the 4th round of the 2002 FA Cup. Arsene Wenger's side, who were 2 up in the first 10 minutes thanks to goals from Henry and Ljungberg, surviving a scare from Gianluca Vialli's team when gifted Noel Williams pulled one back in the 12th minute. Arsenal then pulled away in the second half, adding to Henry and Ljungberg's goals with further efforts from Kanu, a header, making up for misses before and after that goal. and a further one from the substitute Dennis Bergkamp. Gianluca Vialli's side did put a bit of respectability on it late on with that goal from Marcus Gale after some poor goalkeeping by Stuart Taylor and pushing across against his own man Martin Keown. But Arsenal worthy winners in the end. Watford 2, Arsenal 4.